Hello Internet, I'm KrissieDeathy, and welcome back to another Krissie Reads. And I'm going to continue reading Granpa's Way by Atlanta-Decatur, and I'm on chapter 10. But before that, I'm pretty sure you've all noticed that the upload schedule got a little messed up, last week, the week of the 2nd of May. I don't know when this video is gonna go up, but, that is because my stepmother, my father's wife, passed away. From my understanding, it was cardiac arrest. Currently, my father is taking her ashes back to her family up in another state, about 10 hours away from Georgia and Ohio. And that is Twitter. Thank you, Ninja Brian, for posting whatever it is you're posting. So, during this week, it's been rather hectic. My birthday happened on Friday on the 6th. It's been kind of mellow. My dad's doing a lot better, which is good. I have an animation coming out that's in dedication to her. I dedicated it to her. It's a button mashing bitches animation, which will probably be posted before this, so I'll leave a link to it either in the description or in that little eye thing in the corner maybe, or an annotation, I'm not sure. I've just been kind of up and about and everywhere. My dad's, cause he's up in Ohio, I'm sitting here house sitting for him and watching his 2 dogs and making sure they're fed and watered and watering his plants as well. So yeah. It's been a lot that's happened. So why don't we continue reading chapter 10, Insight. He opened his eyes reluctantly and found himself staring at the empty bed next to him. He'd been cold. What woke him up? There was something missing. He scanned the room in search of his fiancée, wondering why she was already up so early in the morning. Shrugging, he tried to go back to sleep. What did he care anyway? Maybe she wanted to start breakfast earlier today. After a couple of minutes, he got up with a sigh. What was she up to? She always let his mom get up first. Besides, it was insanely early. Putting on his shirt, he descended the stairs lazily. No need to hurry this early. He was about to turn towards the kitchen when he saw her, wrapped in a thick blanket, his, on the couch, a cup of something hot, probably coffee, between her hands. Without saying a word, since she didn't seem to acknowledge him, he resumed his walk to the kitchen, got himself a cup of the already-made coffee, he'd been right, and headed towards the couch soundlessly. And there kicks on the air conditioner. It's too early, he stated, making her jump a little. What? She snapped her head around. I said it's too early. What are you doing up at 4:30? Couldn't sleep, she mumbled, looking away. She was expecting to see him later. Not so soon, when her head still wasn't in the right place. You look troubled, he commented, taking a sip of his cup. Do I? He sat down next to her, tugging a little at the blanket to get under. What are you doing? She stuttered, blushing. Since when was he this familiar with her? I'm cold, he pouted, obviously oblivious to his actions. Then go back to bed, she protested. Can't sleep, he shrugged. She looked at him and found herself glad that he was wearing his loose, long pants. It was funny, actually. She spent all night trying to avoid being with him, and then he goes and gets too close again. She wondered amusedly if he had the same crazy need she had. And that was what she cataloged it for, a foolish necessity to sleep close to him. She'd been thinking a lot, analyzing a lot, and came to that conclusion. She was only used to him. That was all. It'd been 3 months that she had been sleeping by his side, so she grew accustomed to that. It was actually logical, as if he were a pillow or a blanket you've been using for too long. Once you don't have it anymore, you miss it. She hid a giggle as she remembered when, in one moment of her pondering, she had compared him to a big teddy bear she owned when she was little. and had been forced to leave behind when she had to hit the road. Ryoga shifted and turned the TV on, surfing through the channels. There wasn't anything good on that early. He just sat there, barely acknowledging her. But she could tell that he noticed if she moved away, and that made her feel somehow better, because it proved that what was happening to her was probably happening to him too. What scared her of the recently discovered used to him situation was that it also meant acceptance. She'd gotten used to him because she accepted him. Maybe not as a fiancé yet. In fact, she couldn't tell exactly what he meant to her. She just accepted him. Coming to this conclusion, she was about to solve another problem that it brought on, but he had just suddenly appeared out of nowhere and interrupted her thoughts. So she'd leave it for later. "Are you hungry yet, Ryoga?" Said boy turned to peer at her for sleepy eyes. You're practically falling over with sleep, dummy. Why don't you go to bed?" He shook his head no, forcing his eyes wide open. She took the almost full cup of his hand and rested it on the coffee table, standing up. "Ryoga, lie down, get some sleep. You went to bed a little late last night." "I'm not tired," he protested, already falling on his side. He snuggled his head on one of the cushions, tugging the blanket firmly around him. "What are you doing up, anyway?" "Couldn't sleep." She rolled her eyes. "Well, sleep now, jackass. I'll wake you up for breakfast." "'Kay." He closed his eyes, listening to the sounds Yukio made in the kitchen. For some reason, he couldn't quite conceive. Sleeping was easier knowing she was there. His parents had been chirpy all morning. Too chirpy, actually. That could only mean that things were about to get worse, Ryoga feared. "Ryoga," Kita called. "Go pick the Kanojis up. They're already waiting for you." "What?" he asked from the bottom of the stairs. "Go pick the Kanojis up, boy. Hurry," he practically sang, bouncing to the kitchen to join his mother. The boy felt a shudder go down his spine as he descended the stairs. His recently eaten lunch turning in his stomach. As he walked to his car parked in front of the house, he nearly crushed into his fiancée, who was hidden behind a tower of grocery bags. "Watch out, silly. Geez, Yukio, you could have just asked me to give you a ride, he reprimanded as he helped her with the bags. "I'm not a helpless little girl, she shot back, what caused him to roll his eyes. "Whatever. Besides, you were supposed to be picking up my family. I'm on my way. Have any idea why, by the way?" "Clueless. It was probably something to do with the special little get-together Mom's preparing for this afternoon." "Oh, crap. What do you think it is this time? They can't possibly want grandchildren already, can they?" she joked, enjoying how Ryoga turned red. "Very funny." "Go on, Hibiki. Let's get this over with," she sighed, entering the house. "Yeah, the sooner the better," he said to himself, already shivering. The big, totally joyful grin plastered across Akira's face was proof enough that Ryoga was doomed, even more than he already was. It had been there when he went to pick them up, it was still there when they got out of the car and into the house, and it was still there now that they were all having tea in the living room. His mother had made her special strawberry pie, which they were all enjoying. Which all were enjoying, yeah. Typo. He and Yukio were sitting together in one of the small couches, not by their own choice, of course. It was a little uncomfortable to be so close to her, their bodies touching in the reduced space, but there was nothing they could do, so we tried to tune her off, listening to the talking that neither he nor she were a part of, as always. "Oh, the dojo is going to look so good. I've already sent the invitations to the rest of the family. They'll be here on time. It was a good idea to send them early. They have a sense of direction now, but they still live too far." "I was thinking that we could put the tables near the back wall," Hana pointed out. "That way there will be more room to dance." "That's a wonderful idea. And we'll probably have to bring a few tables from the restaurant in case ours gets too crowded." "I still don't get why we don't do it at the restaurant," Ichiro protested. "It's big enough for all of us." "We know, Ichi. But we really want to do it at the dojo. Like opening the place." Okay. The young couple stared at each other, trying to figure out what was going on. "What do you think? Obviously a party. Maybe for the new dojo?" "Nah, Dad said they wanted to throw a party there, but it's not about the dojo." "Then Did Ryoga already get the ring? What? 2 voices yelled at once. The ring, dear, Hana repeated, this time towards her adopted grandson. We can't have an engagement party without a ring, don't you think? She smiled sweetly. Engagement? What? Well, son, it's time we make it official. It'll be in 2 weeks. We already sent the invitation. Don't worry, kids. We invited your friends, too. Aiko dismissed them, getting back to the main conversation. Oh my god, Yukio whispered, stupefied. Did they really? Yes, they did. Ryoka sneered low enough so only she could hear. It seems they already have everything organized. Wouldn't expect less, she sneered. I can't believe they've really done this behind our backs. Is it really that surprising? She looked at him with a sad, resigned look. I guess not, he whispered. I'm sorry, he added with a grimace. For some reason, he felt the need to apologize. Whatever for, she blinked at him. I don't know. For my family, I guess. Well, then I'm sorry, too, she smiled, pushing his shoulder with her own, surprising herself for her boldness. Thanks, he returned the gesture softly, seemingly pleased. So this means we have to go shopping. Yukio needs a new dress. What? Said girl, turned to the other people hearing her name. You need something special for an occasion, doesn't she, Ryoga? Sure, I guess. Does your tux still fit? His mother asked him, huh? The one you wore in your cousin Leah's wedding a year ago. Oh, I think it does. How did all of you manage to get there in time, may I ask? Hana addressed the other lady, suddenly picking every Konaji's curiosity up. Well, Aiko stated, a little embarrassed. She located us through a satellite that picked up our cell phone signal. Then she sent cars to pick us up and take us to the wedding. It was held in a very secure place, she read slightly. It was very expensive. I see. Hana hid a smile behind her hand. Yukio blinked a couple of times, wondering if what she heard was actually true. Judging by the mortified look on her fiancé's face, it was. Well, this time they'll come all by themselves. Isn't that wonderful, Akira chirped. I don't know if they'll be too happy to see you, dear. Fih. Okay, then. Let me clean this up and we're ready to go, Aiko said to the woman. Ryoga, could you take us to the mall? Maybe you can buy the ring there, too. Sure, I'll take you, he shrugged. Another girly afternoon. Yukio just sighed. Row after row of breathtaking dresses extended in front of her, a myriad of colors contrasting in the afternoon light. Aiko and her grandmother were already trying on whatever they could find, making the saleswoman sweat. She couldn't possibly begin to imagine what she should wear. She'd never been to an engagement party, especially not hers. Which was funny, since she's been engaged for 12 years before. She settled for something blue, scanning the rows slowly, trying to find something that didn't make her look too ridiculous. Found nothing yet, darling? Her mother-in-law asked from beside her, startling her. Nope, I don't even know what to look for. As long as it's blue. Well, it's a formal party, dear, and you need to look stunning. We shouldn't waste time now that your grandmother is busy with her outfit. Yukio chuckled. Who knew what her grandmother would try to put her into? Her mom ushered her into one of the dressers, handing her various numbers and different shades of blue. Yukio didn't like any of them. They were all very beautiful, of course, and expensive, but she just didn't really see herself in those. How's that one, dear? The girl gasped as she looked at her reflection. She had put on an ocean blue strapless silk number zipped in the back. It hugged her figure perfectly, the skirt widening from her thighs to where it reached the floor. She lifted the sides of the skirt and put her arms as high as she could. It reached on forever. Swirling nonstop, she giggled at the velvety silk floated around her thighs like a carousel. She was marveled at her body, at how the beautiful fabric held it still, wrapping itself around her firm breast, tightening around her slim waist, stretching again as it surrounded her hips firmly, and a little bit more as it reached the firm curvature of her bottom. The perfect bead embroidery sparkled under the lights, drawing beautiful patterns across her body. She stopped swirling, her eyes scanning her reflection. She let her hair off the ponytail, letting it fall around her shoulders. When had she become this striking young woman? This is perfect, Mom, she whispered, slightly still awed at the figure in the mirror. Okay, take it off so we can pay for it. Okay, she slumped her shoulders. She really wanted to try it on a little bit more. Walking towards the exit of the mall, she spotted the champagne bento elegance already waiting in the parking lot, Ryoga barely distinguishable through the polarized glasses. The bag suddenly felt heavy in her hands, as a thought crept up in her mind. What would she look like to him? He always accused her of being a tomboyish girl, and her gut went cold when she reasoned that probably to him, she surely wasn't pretty at all, especially if compared to Akane. She was oblivious to the happy chat between the other ladies in the back seat, her eyes downcast. Ryoga looked at her from the corner of his eyes, a small frown forming on his brow. Are you okay? He asked, low, not wanting to interrupt the chirpy conversation going on behind them. Yeah, she dismissed, shrugging her shoulders. You don't look good, he stated. Yukio knew he meant about her mood, but that phrase only did worse to her. Yeah, I know, she replied bitterly. He backtracked a little, her sulking making him uncomfortable. Did I do something wrong? Did something happen? Everything's okay, Ryoga, she dismissed again, trying to force a little smile this time. He said no more, not wanting to upset her further. Truth was, she was getting really sad. She'd gotten a stunning dress, a pair of matching shoes, and even a new set of makeup, and she had started to feel happy about the party because, for once in her life, she was getting the chance to be the beautiful and earth-shaking girl every boy wanted. But after acknowledging the fact that both Akane and Shampoo were probably going to be in the party, her spirits went downhill. She could easily picture the sexy Amazon in a way too revealing Chinese dress, her hair loose, framing her face finely, a perfect picture of sensuality. And Akane, clad in a devastating gown, making her look like one of those beautiful maidens of the fairy tales. Next to them, who were always pretty, she'd be just tomboyish Yukio in an expensive dress. She played the scene in her mind, people gasping as both girls entered the dojo. Shampoo picking up everyone's attention with her sultry voice and sensuous walk, a crazy jealous moose at her side, and Akane moving smoothly through the place like an angel fallen from heaven, stunning everyone she walked past by, her Ron-chan's and Ryoga's eyes never leaving her. How would she look like when they both went to congratulate her, now that they were both friends of hers on their own separate ways? How would she look like standing in front of them, their glowing beauty outshining her? When the car parked outside the Hibiki's garage, she got off mutely and darted to her room. Sliding the door open and then closed a little too harshly, she threw the bags carelessly inside the wardrobe and slumped on her stomach on the bed. What did she care anyway? She might as well wear a pair of old jeans and a loose t-shirt to the party. It would make no difference. She clutched the pillow angrily when hot tears started trickling down her cheeks. Things were just so unfair. It had happened with Ranma, and it was happening again now with Ryoga. Both of them were in love with Akane. Of course, they would have no eyes for her. Who would? The only guys who ever liked her were a pair of cross-dressers who only liked her because they thought she was a boy. Ryoga slid the door open carefully, uneasy with Yukio sobbing. He walked slowly towards her. She was on his side of the bed again. He cleared his throat. Yukio? Her sobbing came to a halt. She hadn't known he was there. What do you want? She replied hastily. Why are you crying? Said nothing. And what do you want? She repeated, exasperated. I'm taking your family back to her house. Want to come? No. Do you want to say goodbye? No, go away. Oh, okay, he sighed. I'll be right back. She said nothing. Ryoga was worried. He had interrogated Hana on their way to the restaurant about Yukio's mood, but she said that nothing had happened. He believed her because she seemed troubled about not noticing Yukio's change of mood. When he got back to his house, he searched for his mother. What's wrong, sweetie? Aiko asked her son as he approached the kitchen with a sullen look. What happened to Yukio today? Nothing happened. Why? She's been crying since she got home, he stated reproachfully. But his mother looked truly surprised. Whatever for? I don't know. She won't tell me, he shrugged. Are you sure nothing happened? Hana or yourself didn't do anything to upset her, like you usually do, he added mentally. Of course not, Ryoga. We had such a great time together. Maybe I should go talk to her. Maybe. It's probably a girl's thing, he shuddered. His mother smiled briefly and headed to his bedroom. Yukio wiped her face off of her hands, her breath slowing down after her crying had stopped. She snuggled her head against the pillow, the faint scent proving it was Ryoga's. She buried her nose into it, trying to inhale as much as she could. There were too many questions churning around in her head, but she just settled for crying herself out. She didn't want to deal with those thoughts right now. A soft rap on the door made her eyes open. Aiko's voice asking for permission to enter made her feel uneasy. She didn't want to talk. Ryoga probably had told his mother that she'd been crying. She sighed as she heard the concern held in her mom's voice and told her to come in. "Honey, what's wrong?" the lady asked when she noticed her daughter-in-law's face. "It's nothing, Mom. Don't mind me." "How can you ask me that when there's obviously something upsetting you?" Aiko said, sitting on the bed. The young chef sighed, unsure of how to put things. "Do you think I'm pretty?" she asked after a while. She felt her mother-in-law's hand on her back, soothing her. "Is that what this is all about?" Yu-Gi-Oh barely nodded. "Honey, you are a beautiful girl. I can't believe you're even asking," Mrs. Abiki chided. "You really think so?" She sat up. "I mean, I've never been told. Well, Ron-chan said I was cute once, but I mean, She flinched. Was she really this pathetic? "Sweetie, maybe not getting enough compliments was due to the fact that you were used to dress in a more masculine way." Yu-Gi-Oh blushed, looking down. "Maybe. People didn't treat you like a girl because you didn't let them, dear. You wanted to be treated like a boy. They just complied. It's not like that anymore. You're becoming a woman." "Am I?" she asked hopefully. She dressed more femininely nowadays, even wearing skirts and dresses more often, but Ryoga sometimes still accused her of being a tomboy. On the other hand, Rama called Akane a tomboy all the time. "Yes, you are," Aiko giggled. "What brought this on? You were so happy earlier in the mall." "Well, you know, this is so embarrassing. I realized that Akane and Yukio are going to be in the party too. And, well, I feel like I'm competing with them again, you know? I mean, I bet nobody actually thought that it could be me who ended up married to Rama. They bet on Akane and Shampoo and maybe even Dachi before me. If you only take a minute and look at yourself in the mirror, you'll realize that you have nothing to envy them." Yukio thought of her reflection in the mirror, clad in blue. She'd been so surprised at herself, at the way her body had changed. "I guess. Sweetheart, all you have to do is let yourself be the beautiful woman you are. Don't be afraid of letting them know that you don't want to pretend to be a boy anymore. You've changed, Yukio. And don't be afraid to show you've grown up," she stated with a proud smile, wiping a tear off the girl's face. The youth took her mother-in-law's hand in hers. "Thanks, Mom." "And as for competing again," the elder woman started hotly, making Yukio look curiously at her. "Well, I've seen the way my boy looks at you sometimes. You have obviously nothing to worry about, dear." She chuckled, enjoying the way the girl's face turned deep scarlet. What? "Oh, I have to finish dinner. Stop singing nonsense, okay?" The lady didn't wait for an answer and left the room. Yukio just looked at the door, wondering in what way Ryoga looked at her heart beating a bit too fast for some reason. And that is the end of Chapter 10. Thank you all so much for listening, and I'm adding a question to get to know all of my subscribers now at the end of every video. So, today's question is, what is your favorite animal? Because I can't think of many questions right now, so let's go with what is your favorite animal? Leave that in the comments below. Feel free to suggest any other stories you would like me to read and all of that. And thank you very much for listening. Bye-bye.